Welcome to RoXolid Productions, where in this video we are going to check out the Hauppauge PVR 60 Pro capture card. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Gary here with RoXolid Productions. Now, before we dive into today's video, I just want to take a second and thank you for stopping by and checking out our video that we have going on here today. I really do appreciate it. If you like what you see here, I invite you to check out some of the other videos that we have that show kind of how we do what we do here, some of the equipment that we use, how we get the quality that we get out of what we utilize. And if you really like what you see here and if you want to see more and stay informed, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. That way each and every time we do upload new content, you are kept informed and up to date. And give us a thumbs up if you like what you see here, and a thumbs down if you think we need to get better. But if you're going to give us a thumbs down, you got to tell us why down in the comments. We can't improve if you don't let us know what's going on. Behind me, this is the original Voltron from the 1980s. This was my jam. Back when I was a kid, get me a bowl of cereal, some milk, some Captain Crunch, my spoon, sit down and watch Voltron, Transformers, G.I. Joe. This was awesome. The new show, yeah, I think I made it through 2 or 3 seasons, not nearly as good. But what I want to know, are you a fan of the original and are you a fan of the new one? So recently we had kind of looked to improve the quality of what not only we are capturing, but I really want to get back into streaming more often. And to date, I've used 2 different devices depending on what I'm doing. If I am capturing, I use this guy here. This is called an EasyCap 284. HDMI in, HDMI out. And what I love about this little card here is the fact that it has an SD card slot on the side, so I can go ahead and record right on here. I don't need a separate computer. Super convenient. Almost everything that's been recorded capture footage wise to this point in time has been recorded using this guy here. Now for streaming, I use an Elgato. That's actually, I've got that hooked up to pass through so you can see what's on screen here right now. The great thing about the Elgato is it's widely used, it's got great quality, great plugs in, it just works. But if I'm going to capture with it, I've got to have my laptop with me, which means the fans are going to be running, which means it's loud, which means it's hard to go ahead and get good audio for me. Another issue with both of these solutions is the fact neither one passes through 4K to my television. So I was doing some searching and I was doing some checking and I found the Hauppauge PVR, and I hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly, the PVR 60 Pro. And what this promises to do is basically combine what I love about both of those systems. So the EasyCap 284 works great for capturing, but it doesn't really have good throughput for when I want to stream. It can, but it doesn't look great. The Elgato, great for streaming, kind of a pain in the butt for capturing. And I hate having to swap cables from one to the other. This promises to do both in one unit. And it has 4K pass-through, so I can go ahead and get quality video right here on my TV for what I'm getting to see, even if I'm not capturing. That's the thing. My EasyCap 284 was always hooked up. It just was. So I was constraining my visual quality based on the fact this can only pass through 1080p. This promises to pass through 4K. So I am looking forward to testing that out. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this, we're going to throw it on the bench, we're going to check out some of the features, and we're going to get to do the fun part. We're going to get to play some games and check and see what the quality looks like. Let's get started. So here we have all 3 capture cards on the bench. My EasyCap 284, my Elgato HD60S, and then the new Hauppauge. So let's take a look. This is the oldest one in my collection and what I've been using almost since the start of the channel. So the EasyCap 284, what I like about it again is the fact that it does have that SD card slot so I can record natively right on here. Now it does have a USB slot and you might be thinking, hey, I could use a thumb drive. The problem that I found with using a thumb drive with this, and some of my earlier videos definitely had this issue, is the fact that it can't keep up the sync between the audio and the video when you are recording to USB. Not an issue I have found with the SD card, so that's nice. Record button on the top. This actually does have remote control somewhere here. I don't know where it is. It uses mini USB for power, but I can also connect this side to my computer to stream. On the back, you do have your HDMI in and outs. You have a line output for a monitor and a microphone input if you wanted to record over gameplay footage. This AV-in, it actually has a little pigtail that comes with it that will connect to component or composite video. So you might be thinking, great, you can use this for like the NES. No, it does not recognize 240p signals, so that's been one of the bummers about this, and the fact that it doesn't pass through 4K, doesn't pass through 60 frames a second. There's a lot of limitations on this, and I've still had AV issues where it doesn't always sync when I record. Now, the Elgato HD60S, this is a very simple and straightforward device. Little LED strip up here when it is powered on and recording. Again, you have the line input for your microphone along with your HDMI in. USB-C output, so much more up-to-date than this is here with the USB-C, and then it does have your pass-through output there. But no way to record natively right on the unit itself. So for streaming, exceptional. For capturing, kind of a pain. At least that's what I have found. So now here's the Hauppauge, and it does have two LEDs on top that indicate status. Now on the front it does have an SD card slot, so just a more convenient positioning versus the EasyCap that it's right on front versus on the side. It does have both a microphone and a game capture mode right here too. This button will capture stills if you want to do just a still frame capture. Nothing on that side. On this side here, you have a recording mode where you can record to the PC if you wanted to, or on the SD card. An iOS recording on or off, I don't know what that's for. I've just set it to on and it tends to work. And then on the back, you do have your HDMI in and output and your USB-C interface exactly like what you have here on the Elgato. So this really does look to capture what these two devices do in one device. Now, one thing about the Elgato, at least the HD60S, this one does not pass through 4K either. So this is definitely a step up from either of these two devices as far as just pass through to my television. Let's do some gameplay. Let's test out what we're seeing and see if this really is better than what I had been using here to capture gameplay footage. So one of the first things I wanted to check out was just color accuracy. And one of the easiest way to do that is color bars. Here you can see the Hauppauge on the left and the EasyCap 284 on the right. What do you think of the color reproduction? Do you think they're pretty similar? Do you think one looks better than the other? Now we're going to move on to the NES with the Nintendo World Championships cartridge. Oh yeah. So up first we're going to play the Nintendo World Championships card. And the way that I am playing this right now is, I don't care about anything but coins. Dummy. Gotta fly through this. It's been too long since I played. So I am using identical 32 gig SD cards for the data recording. And I'm going, actually I have a patch cord, a Y cord, going through going out of my HDMI modded NES to each capture card. So each one is getting the signal directly from my system. And because this doesn't have HDCP, not an issue. All right, 18 more needed. Oh, I can't believe I screwed the pooch on that. I couldn't be doing worse if I was trying to do bad. Wow, that was terrible. Now on to Rad Racer. Now one thing I will say about the Hauppauge I don't like as much as I do on my EasyCap is when it's recording, the green light flashes. Normally red is record, and it does have a red light on the LED, so I do wish that that was different. And again, the Hauppauge is on the left, the EasyCap 284 is on the right. What do you think of it? And we're also going back and forth between the audio. I have not noticed much of, if any, of a difference in the audio from one to the next. That at least seems to be pretty authentic, but I have noticed some softness in color. And obviously the fact that the EasyCap cannot do 60 frames per second is a big advantage for the Hauppauge. I always wondered if those were supposed to look like VW bugs, or if that's just the way the animation kind of looked, or if I'm smoking crack and I'm the only one who thinks those look like VW Beetles. I wonder if I'm even going to have time to get to Tetris, although I'm not even going to jinx it here. Rad Racer, very challenging game, just because the AI tends to be stupid and swerve in front of you like that. Jerk face. I knew it was coming. Always better off to let off the gas and take that little bit of hit on time than to crash and take a big hit on time. All right, cool. Clean run through Rad Racer. I can't remember the last time I did that. I am also using the Hyperkin wireless controller, so that may introduce a little lag or delay, but so far, so good. It's actually a really good controller. It's what I've been playing my NES with for the most part since I got it. All right, come on, gotta hurry, gotta go, 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 go. Worried I'm getting all of those 4 pieces right now, and when I'm gonna need one, I'm not gonna get one. Like, I could use one right now. Ain't gonna happen, is it? Clear a couple lines just to get something on the board. Put it on the board, yes! Seriously, where are my long pieces? There's one. Ah, crap. Oh, we'll get rid of that. Drop that there. Get a single. Another single, which I hate having to do. But I got, there we go. Now I've got a path that I can get some Tetrises. Oh, that was dumb. Oh, I am so screwed on this one. This has not been a good run for me. And I'll start with a poor showing on Super Mario Brothers. This seems like it's going up. There's time. It seemed like I had a lot of time. I screwed up so much on Tetris. 201,000 points. Not great. So here's something quite bizarre. The fact that, yeah, the PVR 60 Pro does not capture off of a VGA output from the OSSC. For some reason, I am only getting a blue screen off of that. It shouldn't be HDCP related. I've tried bypassing it. I've tried just going straight into the system, bypass, you know, no daisy chaining or anything like that. All I get is a blue screen, so that's rather odd. So here we have the PS4 loaded up, and one key thing is you need to go into the system settings and disable HDCP. If you don't, you won't be able to pass the signal through a splitter, a switch box, your card. So we're gonna go in and play some Ratchet & Clank really quick. And I have recently streamed this through the PlayStation 5, and it looked beautiful. I'm wondering if I'm gonna notice it kind of not looking quite so good here on the PlayStation 4. But this is definitely an indication too where the 60 frames versus 30 frames should make a difference. I believe on the PS4 this runs at 60 frames per second, but I could be wrong. I'm sure someone in the comments will let me know if I'm wrong. So much happening on screen at one time. It's wonderful. I love this game. If you've never played any of the Ratchet & Clank series, you seriously need to. It is an amazing series, so much fun. It's a collectathon, it's a third-person shooter, it's a puzzle game. It's just, it's awesome. And it's really well written too, that's the other thing. The comedy is pretty spot on. It's funny, it's terrific. Now, I will say, while the PS5 does look a little better, it's not a huge improvement. This actually still looks amazing on the PS4. I mean, the thing and the graphics look great. You know, I never noticed until I played on the PS5 recently, like the way that Ratchet's ears bop and whatnot as he walks. That animation is still here, which is terrific. But I think overall, the game looks great. It sounds great. I think the animation does look a little bit better coming through on the Hauppauge than on the Easy Cap. But it's not... Like, I've been okay with what I've had for the last 2+ years, almost 3 years with the Easy Cap. I don't know that, for me, that's a huge amount of difference. I would say that having the fork pass-through during gameplay, that is a big difference. Now, that is not something I can see right now because I have actually daisy-chained the capture cards together, and because of that, I've got the lowest signal max, so because I can only do 1080p pass-through on the EasyCap 284, kind of where I'm stuck right now. But now, that being said, being stuck at a lower resolution pass-through, I'm actually going to the Hauppauge first, and then going to the easy cap, just so that I've got the best signal possible going into each capture card. All right, so for the first time on this channel, we're actually doing some Xbox One footage. Really weird that the Dreamcast would not capture. That was quite bizarre. All right, let's see if we can't find out. There they are. Got two of them. I mean, this looks pretty good to me. Not feeling any, one of the things too, when you're splitting a signal, you're introducing, lag and latency and things like that. Going through two capture cards, this is actually not doing too bad. I see someone's shadow up top. Let's see who we can find. Ah, shoot, I was hoping I could jump up there and I can't. Doing okay so far. Uh-oh. Got another stormtrooper coming. So this is how everything looks on the Xbox One, and it is an original Xbox One, not an S or an X. So there you have it, our look at what our capture past was and what our capture future is. Now, there are things to like about both of these devices. First and foremost, I appreciate the fact that when I was just starting the channel, the EasyCap 284 allowed me to quickly and easily capture video game footage that looked pretty good. I've really never heard anyone complain about the quality of the picture when I capture using this. There have been people that have pointed out when the audio may have gotten out of sync. It's a legitimate criticism and some things that sometimes during editing I may not have noticed. Convenient, handy, I'm very thankful for everything that I've been able to do with this. Now with the Hauppauge, the PVR 60 Pro, what I see going to the TV here is crisper because I am getting that 4K pass-through. I'm also getting 60 frames per second on the recording side. Now, one thing that I did not see when I was doing my capture, and I didn't see until I was working on the editing, was just how washed out and how the black levels were off on the Hauppauge. Now, there is a firmware update which I have now installed, and there is also an adjustment screen for your video settings in the Hauppauge capture software that I will be tweaking on this, so I can go ahead and make sure that the black levels on this more closely mimic what the black levels were on this, because side by side in a lot of the footage I liked how this looked better, quite honestly, but I can tweak those settings on the PVR 60 Pro to try to mimic what I was getting out of here. Above and beyond that, 60 frames per second capture looked great. I thought the overall footage just looked better. The black levels were just off, and that's something I'll have to tweak myself. Now, to update the firmware, all that you do is you download the firmware file, you put it on an SD card, throw it in the front of the unit, hold down the camera capture button on the front of the unit, and plug it into a power supply. Now, you don't need to have a completely blank SD card to make that happen. If you have other items on that SD card, it will still update the firmware. That's not an issue. I know a lot of times with firmware updates, you need to have a completely blank SD card. That is not the case on this unit here. The other thing that I was able to find out, I actually did some online chat with Hauppauge. Gotta thank him for actually being really easy to talk to. It was quite convenient. The iOS record on off on the side, what that stands for, it basically allows you to pass through if you have HDCP devices hooked up to your TV. So for example, I could not watch Netflix through this because it'll block it off. If I disable that, it'll pass through without an issue. Kind of curious why my Dreamcast would not capture properly. I asked them about that when I had the online chat going. They weren't familiar with the OSSC, so they couldn't really provide any answers. I'm gonna speculate that the fact that it's either going from what's really a DVI signal to HDMI, either that's causing the issue. Nothing else that went through my OSSC caused any issues, so that's quite weird. But connecting it to the PC, here's the other thing that I have to remember to do, and why I was reaching out to Hauppauge customer support online first. I was connecting it up, I was trying to download and install the firmware onto my PC, and it wouldn't work because I had the slide switch on the side set to card and not PC. Gotta remember to do that. That is an extra step that I'm not used to having to take. But what did you think of the footage, minus the fact that the black levels were light on the PVR 60 Pro? I thought that footage actually looked crisper and overall less blurry than what I had on the EasyCap 284. But I have to admit, the stock black levels on this, out of the box, vastly superior on the capture side of things. So that again is something we are going to tweak. Let me know what you think of it down below in the comment section. If you have any other questions or comments about the PVR 60 Pro, about the EasyCap 284, about the Elgato HD60S, leave those down in the comments too. Now, I didn't do any head-to-head comparison with the Elgato simply because I wanted to compare capturing via the SD card versus capturing locally on my PC. That's the biggest reason why I was looking to make this change and upgrade here. Now, if you do have any other comments or questions, as always, you can email me at roxsolidmail@gmail.com. You can send me a message over on Twitter at RoXolidStudios. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/RoXolid Productions and on Instagram at instagram.com/RoXolid Productions GK. We've also recently started mirroring our content that we have on YouTube on our new Rumble channel as well. You can visit us at the link on screen right now at rumble.com. And one other final thing that I misspoke a little bit during the capture footage. I said this was the first time on the channel we were going to go ahead and have stuff for the Xbox One. Well, I forgot that I did some battery reviews for Xbox One controllers. So, second time, yeah. So, but we are going to have some more Xbox content coming up because we have an Xbox One S we're going to be refurbishing in the near future at the time of this recording. But overall, I am very happy with my purchase of the PVR 60 Pro. I think it has a lot of additional benefits and combines what we are getting with our Elgato and what we had been getting with our good friend here, the EasyCap 284. Thank you for everything that you have done to this channel for this up to this point. Everybody out there appreciates it, but this is the new hotness. My name is Gary, this has been RoXolid Productions, and our look at our new upgraded Hauppauge PVR 60 Pro capture card. I thank you for watching, and I really hope to see you soon. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to support the future of RoXolid Productions, you can do so by visiting our Patreon page at patreon.com/RoXolid. For as little as $1 a month, $12 a year, you'll get early access to all of our video content, exclusive content, and a whole lot more. You can also become a channel member here on YouTube for as little as $1.99 a month, and with that, you get a badge next to your name when you comment or post on the channel, and you are acknowledged whether you are a channel member or a Patreon supporter at the end of each and every one of our videos. You can also support the channel by visiting our Teespring store on screen now, where we have t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, masks, cell phone cases, and much more. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.